Hey there guys. So in this video, I want to spend a little time talking about why I personally tend to veer away from any sort of political discussion or discourse, at least insofar as it relates to my professional image and my voiceover and other business ventures. This is a video I've been thinking about making for a little while now, and I wanted to take some time and really decide what I wanted to say about it and how I wanted to express the thoughts I had about it. And for anyone who's been following the news recently, there's been some pretty interesting happenings going on in the US, and this seemed as good a time for me to talk about this matter as any. This is also a video I wanted to get out there at some point, more so as an insurance policy for me, so that if I ever get to a point in my career where I'm getting somewhere and I'm at the point where people are, interviewing me and I get into the interview chair and people start asking me some tough questions about what are my thoughts about the current issues of the day, I will have already established my general approach to talking about politics, and I will be able to, just refer them back to what I'm talking about here. So, why I tend to veer away from talking about politics, at least in relation to my professional ventures and my personal brand. First and foremost, for me personally, it's even less of a professional thing as it is just a quality of life thing, is that it's a temperamental choice for me. So I generally try to be a pretty chill, mellow guy. I don't like to let stuff get to me too hard and just be pretty easygoing. But I can absolutely get pretty fired up about stuff. I'm a pretty opinionated guy about all sorts of matters, and it's not difficult for me to get into a headspace where I start getting very emotionally charged up about the way I feel about certain things. And I've lived enough life now to realize that when I spend too much time and energy focusing on those sorts of things, whether it's politics or whatever, my opinions about, just how to live life, my opinions about film, my opinions about food, anything, it just puts me in a place where I don't really like who I am. I don't like the way I'm looking at the world. I don't like the way that I feel. And I just decided that this is going to be sort of a trigger for me. And it's something that I generally just don't want to introduce too much of into my life. It's kind of like, maybe if a person has had trouble with abusing alcohol in the past, maybe they decide that them going to the bar or going to certain parties or places where alcohol is more prevalent might not be the best move for them. And for me, I've had enough experience just to realize that's a similar place that I'm in. And I'll say right now, I certainly don't fault anybody for using their professional platform or using their audience that they have for being a public figure to espouse some of their political opinions. I think that's fine. I'm totally cool with other people doing that. And so I'm not out here to say that nobody should talk about politics in relation to that, but I wanted to explain why that's personally something that I veer away from. And once again, it's just something that I don't like who I am when I get too emotionally worked up about something. And it's just something that I try to be very mindful about discussing, especially on social media or in relation to, any kind of those places where I do a lot of my branding and stuff. It's also just, in my personal experience, hasn't been a great medium to talk about those sorts of matters in the way that I would want to anyway. I mean, like with Twitter, you only get, 240 characters nowadays to express an idea in a single tweet. And if I'm going to have a discussion, I would much rather have it with somebody who I know personally, who I trust, who trusts me over coffee, and then we can just have a real face-to-face discussion there. And it's not the sort of, at least in the way that I would like to talk about it, is not the kind of discussion that I want to have on social media and does not put me in the right frame of mind that I like to be in. Branching off of that, secondly, I think it distracts me from being the best actor and the best professional that I can be. Once again, I work my best when I don't have a lot of other distractions and drama going on in my life. I like to live fairly simply, and I do my best work whenever I don't have a whole lot of other noise going on, whether that's I'm in the booth, whether that's I'm doing something on my computer, whatever I'm working on. And I want to be able to keep myself in a place where I can be the best actor that I can be, the best business person that I can be, and put out the best work and the best product that I can. And I know that for me, that means putting up certain boundaries where there are certain things that I don't allow myself to spend a lot of time or energy on because it detracts from the things that I really care about. And especially when I'm in the booth, I want to be absolutely present. I want to be completely immersed in the copy and the character in this world. And I know that if I have anything else majorly going on in my life, whether that's a political discourse or whether that's stuff going on with my family, or I'm not taking care of myself, going to the gym and eating well, or taking care of things that I need to take care of, I'm never going to be in the place where I feel comfortable and where I'm able to put forth my best work. So that's another reason. And then lastly, it's just, I decided a while ago when I was starting off voiceover, when I was starting thinking about, how I wanted to put my personal brand together and what I wanted my message and what I wanted to be about, is that I just decided that I wasn't going to play that game, because it would once again detract from what I really wanted this to be about. Like when I started making these YouTube videos, I want to talk a little bit about, my life as a voice actor, and maybe share a little bit of that journey, and perhaps people watching the video could, either who might be voice actors themselves could learn from that, or just whatever you do in your life, maybe glean some stuff from my life experiences. But I also just wanted to talk about what I think it means to live a good life in a very broad sort of sense, because I mean, I've been doing a lot of work on myself. I've had a lot of challenges and struggles along the way, and I've learned a lot of things about what I think has helped me to live the best life that I can. And first and foremost, that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to talk about when I go out into the world. Regardless of whatever your political ilk is, regardless of whatever background you're coming from, I didn't want to get into the nitty-gritty of that kind of stuff. I want to be able to share what has worked for me to help me be the most comfortable, the most at one with who I am, with what I'm doing, with why I believe I was put on this earth to do. And that's mainly what I wanted to focus on. And when I focus on that message, I feel so much happier and at peace and more engaged than when I'm talking about the latest contentious issue. And, once again, I'll see other people on Facebook talking about stuff, whatever side of the aisle they're on. And a lot of people, I may even agree with you, but I tend to veer away from that discussion because it's just not something an arena that I want to delve into. And I realize that it doesn't put me in a place where I want to be, and it's not making my business what I want it to be. So hopefully that's succinct. Hopefully you guys get something from that and gives you something to think about yourself. And once again, like you guys, you do you. If you're out there, you've got some strong opinions or messages that you want to share about anything political or otherwise, by all means, you go with my blessing, and that's awesome. And I think there are absolutely some things, worth speaking up about, and especially if you've got an audience that you think will listen to you and you can, share some stuff that's worth talking about. I just decided that for me, as far as my professional endeavors go and what I'm really trying to do here with these videos I'm putting out, with the interactions that I engage with people, it's just not really where I'm focusing, and I'm totally at peace with that. So thanks again for watching, you guys. Hope you got something out of this. And I, as always, wish you nothing but the best. Have a great week. Take care. God bless.